Good morning. I'm Sarah Pearson in the News 2 Alert Center with your morning pulse. Historic wildfires scorched miles of pasture in greater Nebraska, leaving some cow-calf ranchers with a problem you can't fix overnight: no summer grass. One local farmer is trying to help ranchers keep their herds close to home by turning some irrigated row crop ground into emergency grazing land.
There's other families that might choose to liquidate, but a lot of them don't want to. And if they were to liquidate, most of them would be remiss, because that's typically some sort of cow that they've worked to develop. They've got genetics, and they've got motherability, and they've got demeanor, and they don't want to jump out and then jump in. I mean, do what you have to, but they really don't want to.
Our full story with Walgren can be found on the News 2 app on Roku. Even in the midst of vital work in Washington, Nebraska's federal delegation says it's staying closely plugged into the wildfire responses back home. Lawmakers saying they've been in regular contact with constituents and officials alike.
Governor obviously has been keeping in touch with us, and we're just trying to assess now everything that's going on. I was just talking to some county commissioners from Lincoln County and Keith County, and so we can hopefully look ahead to see if there's any way the federal government, we can help them with some of the needs they're going to be looking at.
Nebraska Congressman Adrian Smith echoed Senator Deb Fischer's call to support those impacted by the historic wildfires.
Certainly, it's being on the phone with folks here locally to get an update, a report, as we are voting in Washington and carrying on session, which is necessary for me to attend. So I'm glad to be able to be back here already again. Like I said, to meet with folks, get their local perspective.
And an update on the Nebraska wildfires. According to Watch Duty, the Morrill Fire, the largest in state history, is finally 100% contained. The Cottonwood Fire is sitting at 98%, and the Road 203 fire is now 90% contained. The Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team says crews battling the Cottonwood Fire are patrolling hot spots and investigating reports of smoke. 4 National Guard helicopters are continuing to support the efforts. The Omaha Supernovas look to extend their 3-game win streak tonight as they take on the San Diego Mojo. The Novas currently sit at 10-9 overall, while the Mojo sit at 7-10. First serve is set for 9, and the game can be seen on YouTube.
Hi everybody, good morning. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Wednesday morning. It is March 25th. Let's take a look at things here this morning here when it comes to our forecast. So first off, hot, dry conditions and some breezy northwesterly winds are going to lead to an elevated fire threat today over central and western Nebraska. Red flag warnings are in place. The Hastings National Weather Service, they have put this out from noon today until 8 o'clock this evening. The North Platte National Weather Service, which covers these counties right in here, these counties in here, and then all of these counties here all the way to right there. They have issued it out from 11 a.m. Central Time today all the way until 11 a.m. tomorrow Central Time. Out west, Cheyenne, I believe it goes only until tonight. But again, why is this out farther than just this evening? Well, winds are actually going to crank up towards tomorrow morning as a cold front comes through. And until that relative humidity climbs a little bit more as temperatures cool down, that fire threat will still be at an elevated level overnight tonight and tomorrow. So let's take a look at futurecast. We've got a warm front pushing east across eastern Nebraska this morning, and then we've got a surface trough. The surface trough is actually located about right there. And it's a shift of winds going from south and southwesterly winds to more of a west wind. Those winds will even become more northwesterly with time today. It's going to be a little breezy, not super strong, but 10 to 20 miles per hour, gust to 25 or so. And that's going to create that higher threat of wildfires. We've got very warm, hot, almost hot, dry conditions today with record highs. And so relative humidity is going to be down around 10-20% later on today. Overnight tonight, a few increase in clouds late tonight, especially across northern portions of Nebraska. Even starting to see some light rain. A cold front will begin to slide south. That front will be roughly about right here. or so, and that's going to slide south during the day tomorrow. As we get towards noon tomorrow, increasing clouds up north, more sun farther south. Our front's now right there by noon. So most of us are now near and behind that front. And so it'll be warmest in the southeast, cooler the farther north you go. A little light rain possible. Notice the winds, though, blowing out of the north and northeast. They're going to be kind of strong tomorrow. We could see some gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. Tomorrow afternoon, some increasing clouds across the north still, and even a little farther south, some very limited moisture, and we'll see some of that moisture slide southward Thursday night into Friday morning. Light rain, I will mention, we'll back this up a little bit here. Let's go back to tonight, this evening. Spotty showers, maybe some isolated thunder and lightning in southeastern areas here. So could be a little convection, not expecting severe weather, but a little bit of convection there in southeastern areas. A few snowflakes may try to mix in later tonight, especially up north. I don't think we'll see much with that, though, through early tomorrow morning. That mostly moves out by Friday morning. So moisture is going to be minimal. It's not going to be a big deal for most of us, unfortunately. Very hit or miss, too. Well, record highs are expected today. I think the 3 locations where records may be a little tough to get to, Valentine, Lincoln are going to be a little bit tough, but are possible. Omaha is going to be even tougher to get to today. Record of 91 there. Pretty much every other location on this map, and I will mention that Kearney's unofficial number is 85, but every other location on this map should tie or break a record for today. We're going for records or temperatures today into mid to upper 80s and low to mid 90s. And again, I mentioned Omaha, probably not going to get to that 91. Lincoln, the record 91. We'll see. It's going to be close. And then Valentine, the record's 85. Probably not going to get there, but it might. We'll see. But every other location should get there for later this afternoon. Overnight tonight, we'll dip back into the 40s, 50s, and lower 60s for lows as that cooler air begins to move in up north. Look at the range and high temperature tomorrow. Some of you will see temperatures fall a little bit once that cold front comes through. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even some lower 80s. Now, especially in southeastern areas, you will see a drop in temperatures later in the day once that front comes through. So it may be a few degrees, a little bit cooler by Thursday late in the afternoon. The winds will be blustery, so that's going to be another deal. Something we're going to have to deal with tomorrow. Much chillier Thursday night into Friday morning with lows down into the mid to upper 20s and lower 30s. Our coolest day ahead does come in on Friday. High temperatures in the 50s for most of us, which is closer to average. Average highs in the mid to upper 50s this time of the year. Might even be a couple of upper 40s up north. Temperatures tomorrow or Friday night into Saturday morning down into the mid to upper 20s and low 30s again, maybe some mid 30s out west. And then looking at your day on Saturday, we begin to warm up 60s. Some 70s out west, but the winds are going to crank up again on Saturday, so the fire threat will also be returning on Saturday. So again, temperatures will start to warm back up Saturday and beyond here. Again, record highs today, breezy today, windy tomorrow with that front coming through. Temperatures may even be a little cooler by later in the day. We have a slight chance of light rain tomorrow night, maybe a few snowflakes mixed in. It shouldn't amount to much. Cooler on Friday. We start to warm up on a windy Saturday. Warm and breezy Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Slight chances of rain Monday night, and Tuesday. I'm hoping for better chances of moisture later next week as temperatures come back down for the first few days of April. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. There are some inconsistencies with the models, so there's a lot of uncertainty right there. Looking at North Platte, again, very warm today. Will be much cooler tomorrow. We're going to break that high today, by the way, that record high today. Much cooler, windy tomorrow, small chance of light rain tomorrow evening. Coolest day on Friday. We warm back up Saturday. Windy conditions, probably an elevated fire threat there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on the warm side again, slight chance of rain Monday night, and Tuesday. And just like the Tri-Cities, temperatures look to come down now for the second half of next week, which would also include maybe some better chances of moisture to start off the month of April. We'll see. Climate Prediction Center's outlook for the 8 to 14-day outlook. This is for basically the first 7 days of April. So this is next Wednesday through the following Tuesday, the Tuesday after Easter. We are still likely to be above average during that time frame. That said, again, we might be cooling down for those first few days of April, so weather pattern might change a little bit. We'll see. But they do have us in the above average precipitation category. In fact, that level 2 above average, which makes it a little more likely that would be there. Most likely area to be above average precipitation-wise would be up in the Great Lakes region there. So let's take a look at some of the long-range models. Again, we'll start with the NAM model. As I always say, this model is only a 3-day model, so it doesn't go out as far. But I do want to bring it up for reasons of tomorrow night, right here. So let's pause this right here, actually. We're going to go back to Thursday evening at 7 p.m. So again, we're all behind the cold front this time. Notice the NAM does not point to very much moisture for our area though. And then we're dry and cooler on Friday. Winds reverse course Saturday morning. We'll start to warm up. The winds are going to pick up on Saturday. All right, now to some longer range models. This is the European model, ECMWF. It's a model that's it's developed and run out of Europe, but it does have American weather. So let's jump ahead to Thursday evening. Thursday during the day, there is a small chance there, but Thursday evening, here comes the slight chance of light rain and a little thin line there. Maybe some isolated lightning and thunder. A few flakes may try to mix in early on Friday morning, but again, I just don't see much moisture with this. It's not anything that's going to be promising. So then we have to wait until Monday. Monday, a slight chance of rain. Monday night, maybe a slightly better chance. Still a slight chance on Tuesday. And then hopefully maybe better chances beyond that. Wednesday night, Thursday. But it does try to bring in some cold enough air for a little snow to mix in there, especially over northern areas. And then maybe another chance. This goes out through Saturday morning, this model does. It does show maybe some signs of some moisture into the first half, or the first weekend of April, which is Easter weekend. So it's something we'll be watching for to see if there's rain and or maybe some snow down the road. All right, and finally the GFS model. This is a model it's an American forecast model. This one also, we have access to 10 days of this model here in the Weather Center. So again, looking ahead to tomorrow night, the moisture is minimal. Best chances are in southern Nebraska, northern Kansas, by the way. So then, because there's nothing there, we jump ahead to Monday. Again, I mentioned that slight chance of rain Monday night into Tuesday. Not real promising right now, so that's why I'm not making a big deal about it. But beyond Tuesday, maybe we start seeing some rain and or some snow chances during the second half of next week. Now, this would be very interesting right here if this were to happen. Again, this is not set in stone. We're talking 9 days away, 8-9 days away yet. So we're talking about a ways out yet, but there is potential for maybe some Thursday to Friday snow right for Easter there. That's Good Friday there. That'll be very interesting to see. And then as we head into the weekend, that system clears on out. So there are differences between the two models, which is why, again, you don't want to buy into one model over another at all this far out. It is way too far out. But again, what it is showing us? What are the things we can take away from it? It's at least showing chances of moisture sometime during the second half of next week, maybe one or multiple opportunities for some moisture. Before we wrap things up here in just a couple of minutes, we're just going to quickly blow through the European model again, but on a national scale here. And again, you can see the jet stream to our north, but diving south a bit late this week. But again, as the high pressure moves over, because if you see at the beginning here, it's over the desert southwest, New Mexico. But as it moves over to the Gulf of Mexico area, Gulf of America area, we start to get some moisture return right here. That starts to bring in that moisture chance. So our dew points climb and maybe potentially some moisture down the road, especially if it can move over here towards Florida. Then you start to see more of that moisture return northward. So hopefully maybe some moisture chances down the road later next week. And then finally the GFS model again. There's our high pressure right there over the desert southwest. As that shifts eastward next week, that may start to bring us better chances of moisture return from the Gulf of Mexico, and maybe we start to see something in the long-range part of our forecast. This is a better setup. When you get a trough over the western U.S. and a ridge over the eastern U.S., that's good news for us. Usually means moisture return coming in from the Gulf, and maybe we get something that comes in that maybe brings us some impacts here, weather-wise. Temperatures, again, cooling down after today's heat. Friday's the coolest day. We warm right back up Saturday and into Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty warm. Then again, later next week with those moisture chances, perhaps maybe some moisture or some cooler weather we'll see. Again, the European is not aligned up with the GFS for late next week right now. European tries to warm us back up by the end of next week. GFS, I think, is going to be showing a lot cooler weather there. So again, warm today. We're cooling back by Friday. Here comes the warmth next week to start the week, but then cooler by the end of the week. So again, model discrepancies for the second half of next week when it comes to moisture chances and whether or not we're warm or cold right now. So again, don't want to buy into anything as of right now, just showing you trends. And again, the trend right now is that somewhere in that time frame, maybe, just maybe, some moisture returning to our area. So with that, that's all I have for you guys for today. I want to thank you all for watching on this Wednesday. I'll be back with you on Thursday with all the latest. And of course, you can join me live on the morning mugcast. That starts at 7:05 on all of our streaming services, including our phone apps and on Roku and other streaming devices. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. I will see you all again on Thursday. Talk to you all later. Bye.